Hey everyone, thank you so much for being with us today in this special moment. My name is Bianca. I'm originally from Rio, but I've been living here in Berlin for the past 3 years. I am an independent curator, arts educator, graphic designer, and creative project manager. And for the past 9 years, I've been traveling and working in the arts internationally. And I will share with you a little bit of the highlights of this time. So in 2016, I was co-founding after working in an established art gallery in Rio. I co-founded an independent art gallery with two friends, Nina Gani and Margaret Luz, and it was called Rio Art Gallery. We worked mainly with independent artists from Rio de Janeiro, and this is when I started to curate independently while also doing some of the exhibition designs. And we experimented a lot during this time, and it was very important for the development of my career. Like in this event, this was a celebration for São Conrado neighborhood in a deactivated store space inside a shopping mall. So we did a group show with an artist talk. Here we see Fernando Salwaia, Carlos Bobby, Vinicius Pam talking to the public, and behind them you can see a mural that they live painted, and the public could also like take a piece of home. So another very cool event we did was for the U.S. Ambassador's house, a private event at their house, and we did a live auction with Miguel Vida, Spanish artist living in Rio, and this was a collaborative painting that he did with people that were attending this party. And at the end, we had a live auction. So here you can see the ambassador playing like competition with his wife, and the two people that in the end got to take not only the artwork that they also painted, but they got the highest bid. And this was another auction with live painting called Dança das Cadeiras, which means chair dance, at the fair trade store in downtown Rio de Janeiro. And we had three artists customizing cardboard chairs, and also like a conversation with the public about the challenges of being an artist and working independently in the arts. Another project that I'm very proud of is called From Where It Comes and Where It Goes, the translation to Da Onde Vem Pra Onde Vai, where we did a group show after visiting this community of women that made products turning like palm trees into a sheet-like material that we used as canvas. And then I left Brazil. I started my journey internationally. I went to New Zealand, United States, Canada, and then later the Middle East. During this period, I continued facilitating creative projects and collaborating with amazing people that I was lucky enough to meet. This was in Christchurch, New Zealand. I curated Uruguayan artist Veronica Artaga Veitia in an exhibition where she was gifting the city of Christchurch all of her amazing sculptures that she actually brought from Uruguay to New Zealand. I also collaborated and gave some consultations for Fixate Art Gallery. And then when I went to North America, I guided Mauro Neri, artist from São Paulo. This is the Walking Gallery project where he is wearing a backpack that is a house that his mom made it to him, while also this painting. And then we found this house-like situation in the street, and it was a fantastic and authentic thing that happened. I went to Canada and I volunteered for a mural festival, street art festival in Montreal. And this is Colombian artist Glio painting her amazing mural. And then I also started working for Women on Walls. This is an online platform that connects women and non-binary people in the arts. This was the launch presentation. And then during this time, I was also assistant curator for a national exhibition called Mulheres que Mudaram 200 Anos, Women Who Changed 100 Years, about the women that took part in the Brazilian independence. And I also worked as a creative project manager for Instagraffiti. They are an art agency known for their murals, not only in Brazil, but also internationally. Here in Berlin, I make the communications for Luzia Simmons, and I help her with her projects. She is a Brazilian artist from Ceará. She's been here in Berlin for more than 30 years. She has lots of stories to tell, and her artwork is fantastic. She's a pioneer in the usage and development of the scanogram, a media technique that combines painting and photography, and then she prints also like in this high, like very big scale, like photographs. And now building up to the project I've been developing in the past 8 weeks, I'll share with you the story of Synergies. So this child was 7 years old when we met. I was running an after-school program that I will share with you briefly about, but then I met him, and then with him, there was a special connection to street art, and I started a street art mentorship program for him. And his artistic name was Synergies because it's a combination of the two things he likes the most, snacks and cereals. So cereal and snack. So with him, this was a very cool experiment to develop his artistic identity, his artistic name. Here in this picture, we see him learning about like street art aesthetics such as bombing and tagging and sticker making. And doing this with him, this is something that he told me. I know you're doing this because of my energy, but thank you. After conforming all day in school in this structure-like environment, for him to have the space to be was very important. And this I learned while I was working for Eliza Duno in this afternoon program called The Arc. And we would do pickups in schools and take children to all sorts of places in then Tel Aviv. And this was the moment when I fell in love with teaching children, and also when I found my own self sense of being authentic and finding my own authenticity while working with them. So this is a little bit of the vandalism I did safely with the permission of the parents with Synergies in the neighborhood. So here we have messages that he left. Thank you. I love you, snack. Sorry, sticker placing, and yo. I was also able to arrange for him to have a workshop with a Brazilian artist from São Paulo, professional artist Alexander Sesper. And he taught him how a new technique to spray paint. So in the beginning, this child was presented to a new space, a new neighborhood. It was unfamiliar to him. It felt weird for him to be there at first because it was different from the neighborhood where he used to live and learn and go to school. And at the end, he had a whole map. He had a whole circuit of all the areas that he left his mark. And this brings me to what I developed with Creative Synergies, Art Wanderers, Urban Adventures for Children in Berlin, a program that supports children not only to develop their artistic identities, but doing so while connecting to Berlin through curated visits. I started to question myself, how accessible is the city and the art ecosystem to children? how especially multicultural children create a sense of belonging in the city, and what happens when we recognize children as active agents in shaping the cultural space, because often children can be considered an afterthought, right? And I felt this by trying to take them to exhibition and feeling a sense of welcomeness. So some struggles that I felt in my day-to-day life working with kids. So what Art Wanderers is about? This is a hybrid model that has inside and outside visits. So we go to different spaces in Berlin and we develop artistic expression. We get to know Berlin through art, ideally in small groups with the maximum of 3 children aged between 6 and 12. And each week, depending on how long we're doing this for, we will visit more or less of different areas of the city. We're going to offer a 1-day program, 6 weeks program, or 12 weeks program. And our guiding questions are: how Berlin expresses art, where do I fit, who am I in the city, and how can I interact with the city, or how do I interact with the city. The 12-week program, it will have more detail in terms of the exercises we can experiment with in the development of the artistic identity. And by the end, we'll have a group picnic, a communal picnic where the kids can share their arts and whatever they feel like sharing with the families and the people involved. And a little bit, it's a lot of information, but just trying to create a structure. The core that I want to facilitate is agency, belonging, exploration. What is my role on this as a curator, as a facilitator, as an educator? Is my ongoing research for the spaces we're going to visit, the types of exercise and invitations and propositions I'm going to give the kids, nonviolent communication, and multilingual approach. Obviously, this will be led in English or in Portuguese, but I always find ways of connecting, also mixing the languages that I can manage a little bit, and it's quite fun. But English or Portuguese will be the main languages. And some activities will be visiting art galleries, exhibition museums, street art walks, studio visits and workshops with artists, journey documentation, collecting treasures, sticker making, tag making, and experimentation. And the results are the development of social sensitivities, building community, relational art making, social engagement, learning to become streetwise, and the activation of the perceptive system. But how a day will look like. So this is an institution here in Berlin. It's a very special place, and they are super welcoming to us. They're ready to give us the space and whatever we need to do a session there. This is the Behrenswinger. This is a place that was built during the Nazis, survived the GDR, and until 2015, held bears in captivity. This was a present from the Swiss to Berlin back in the 1930s, and until 2015, bears were kept there. So when you visit, you can actually see the family tree of the bears, and for the past 10, 11, maybe 12 years, they are an art gallery. So you can actually walk and see where the bears were kept, their cages, their outside area, and explore the art exhibitions there. So every day we'll have a method. We'll first sit together, talk about where we are. In this case is in Cornischen Park. So this institution is inside a park. So we sit down, we talk a little bit, we understand where we are, and then we visit the institution, we see the artwork, and then we materialize the experience by making art. I will provide the kids with tags like my message to Berlin or my name is, for them to develop their own, like, what do I have to say to the city, to this space, and also like notebooks and arts materials. So by the end of a process with them, they will have something to show. This can be postcards, this can be like our own notebook filled with the memories and little treasures they find as we go. And now if you see worth, if you see value in what I'm proposing, I would like to invite you to think, how do you engage and interact with your city? The children in your life, how do they do it? How do you empower the future generations to claim their agency creatively in the city? And do you know an art wanderer? Because if you do, I'm looking for children to have first sessions in Berlin. You can find me at Bianca at artwanderers.com, and or also on Instagram. And that is it. Thank you very much.